Hello, Dazzle! Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I am glad that you are here. So, as of recording this video, I have played Dark Souls for 300 hours, and I feel like at this point, I'm not really a noob anymore. I mean, I'm not a pro, I'm definitely not a speedrunner, I'm not going to be doing anything like crazy competitions or challenges or anything cool like that. But I feel like I've reached a point that I at least have a sense of what's going on in the game. I can generally get through it well. I can consistently beat the bosses, and I can consistently traverse the landscape without getting spanked too badly. So with all of that, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have learned over the course of the 300 hours. And of course, this isn't going to be a comprehensive list of the things that I've learned, because that would be a really huge video, because this is an enormous game with a crap ton of content, and it has really complicated mechanics. But I just wanted to hit some of the highlights, things that I feel like, if you're new to this game, would be interesting or helpful to know if you were looking to know more about it, so that you could maybe be a little bit less of a noob when you played your second playthrough. When you play your first playthrough, I recommend doing it kind of blind and just diving in and fucking around and finding out and really bleeding with the game, because I feel like that's part of the Dark Souls experience. But after you have been punished and bled out and your soul has suffered in that first run, to whatever degree it's going to be for you as an individual, there's always things that you can build on for your next run, and those are the things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so this is a list of 10 things that I have learned that I wanted to share with y'all. So, here we go. Alright, so the number one thing, use your Estus, before you get to the boss, because the first thing is that if you die before you get to the boss, you're not going to get a chance to actually take on the boss at all. And it's better to get to the boss and have a chance at taking that boss down, even if you only have one Estus or no Estus to try and take that boss. It gives you the chance to be able to take it down. If you don't make it, if you die because you're not using your Estus on the way to the boss, then you're never going to beat the boss. You don't have an opportunity. So the other reason that I will encourage you to use your Estus on the way to the boss is because I find that the majority of the times that I have died while fighting a boss, it didn't matter that I had a stack of Estus available to me. The way that I died was I fell off an edge, I mistimed things, and he totally spanked me in one hit, or comboed me, or whatever, right? I didn't get an opportunity to use that healing item at all, so it was completely irrelevant that I had it available at all. But as you can see here in this example, approaching the Hydra, I took quite a bit of damage when tangoing with the golems, and he hit me several times with this water attack, and I used several of the Estus getting up to him, and I still had 13 available to me when engaging the boss, which is a lot to be able to do a good effort, a good attempt in taking on the boss. Number 2 is that locking on doesn't always help. And again, I'm going to stick with this combat as an example. If you lock on to the Hydra when you are trying to attack them, it will lock on and target its main body. And if you're a melee character and you try to approach him in order to be able to actually reach and hit his main body, you're just going to plummet down into the nothingness of the water. Even with ranged attacks, I have found that hitting the main body of the Hydra isn't particularly helpful, so it is much more useful to not lock on and just run up close and smack or shoot at the heads of the Hydra as they come down and attack you throughout the fight. Number 3, you can sell stuff. I mean, after you have rung both of the Bells of Awakening, you end up with Framp chilling out here where there used to be a pool of water by the Firelink Shrine. If you come up over here to him and you talk to him, he's going to give you the option to give him items to eat. So it'll be feed item. You select that option and you can take things out of your inventory and you feed him the items and he gives you souls in return. So all that crap that you never use, never are going to use, you can bring to him and get souls for, or you can just stuff it in your bottomless box and just hoard it forever like I did the first time I played. And it's, you know, not useful. You can just sit there and collect dust. Number 4, read everything. So going into the item descriptions, read what these say. First of all, they will give you a lot of information about what stuff actually does and how they might be helpful to you. But also embedded into these items is a lot of lore, story bits that is really worth exploring. Number 5, there's diminishing return after 40 levels. I've leveled up quite a few of my stats to 50, and I really just don't feel that the later levels gave me as much for those stats as I got when I was initially putting levels in them. I don't know what the magic ratios or numbers are in this, but I am really of the strong opinion that it is just not as much oomph after 40. And number 6 stays right in the world of your stats. So vitality and endurance all the way, ignore resistance. So when you're increasing your resistance, it goes towards physical, fire, and poison. My experience is that your physical and fire go up anyway every level that you invest, and that poison is only useful in really specific areas. So I find that it's more useful to just get this with items, while vitality and endurance are pretty much always useful, so it's better to put points there. Number 7, experiment. If it isn't working, try something else, and don't be afraid to get really wacky and just try whatever comes to mind, because you just never know what's going to work, and it might be your new favorite thing. Number 8, try jumping off edges, because seriously, there are a bunch of shortcuts in this game that you can find by jumping off edges, and you can just bypass huge sections, or you could just die. But it's really worth exploring the possibilities of what you can find and what could be there by jumping off edges. It really is worth it. In this particular example, you can completely circumvent a huge section of this area of the game if you're willing to take the risk of jumping off the edge. Number 9, killing the NPCs changes the story, so it is worth killing each of them at least once just to see what happens. Number 10, this game is about patterns. So when you are first encountering a mob or a boss, it really can be worth spending the time to observe what their patterns are, because this observation can really pay off. And it might mean that the first couple times you are observing them that you die, but the overall payoff is that you learn that pattern and it gives you an idea of what you should be doing to defeat the boss. Well, those are 10 of the things that I have learned from playing this game a stupid number of hours. Let me know if you like this style of video, and I will think about doing another one like it, or other ones similar, maybe like a sequel with some other things that I've learned about the game. Also, if there are things that you think are worth knowing and interesting, feel free to add those things into the comments. If you disagree with anything that I've had in here, throw those in the comments too. I'd love to hear from all of you. Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you like my rambling, then click on that like button. It really does help. And until we talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye!